Hello, North Penn parents. We're going to wait here about 20 seconds, 30 seconds or so once the room starts to fill up. I saw that when we started, there were 45 people waiting to get in. So we're waiting to make sure everybody else gets into the webinar as this attendee group grows here. You're here for the Extended School Care New Family Orientation for the 2024-25 school year. I'm Bob Gilmer, Coordinator of Communications Media. And this is the part where I chat with you a little bit until we get everybody into the room. It seems like we are already tapping out there at our top for right now. As we get started here, and before I introduce Jackie O'Byrne, our coordinator of the Extended School Care Program from North Penn, just a couple reminders as we're going through the presentation tonight. The way we're going to ask questions is going to be through the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. So if you all look to the bottom of your screen, you'll see like a little text box that has a question mark in it, and it says Q&A. You'll click on that and you'll add your questions in there. And at the end of the presentation, we'll ask for questions and we'll answer those questions you have as best we can. The thing I always like to say is don't start throwing questions here at the very beginning. Wait till we get through the presentation, and we'll probably answer most of the questions you might have right now in the course of the presentation. That's, of course, why we're doing it. And then we'll do the Q&A at the end. So with all that being said, I will stop chattering. We'll get to the main event here for Jackie O'Byrne. Jackie, show is
Thank you
yours. Take it
very much,
away.
Bob. Welcome, everybody. I am so glad you were able to join us tonight and learn a little bit about our program and how it operates. I picked that cute little Minions logo at the bottom, the little meme down. It's not really a meme, it's a GIF or a GIF. What are they called, Bob?
I say GIF.
Okay. So I say GIF too, but my children correct me and say it's called a GIF or something. I
Yeah, I
don't
don't know. We could have a debate on that. I think they're both.
I know. So I picked that welcome to the team because the way I see this is it is a team effort and us helping to ensure that your children are safe while they're with us. And also, we hope that you'll be part of the team and share information with us so that we can make this opportunity and their time with us as successful and as engaging as possible. So we're going to get started here. So our extended care program begins each day at 7 a.m. We include breakfast in our program at all of our locations. And during that time, the children engage in arts and crafts, board games, games they create themselves, as well as some active play activities. So they'll go into the gym, they may be playing any form of dodgeball or basketball or any type of games tag. And then in our after school, we do provide a snack for them as well as homework time. The kids again may engage in some arts and crafts games, and a lot of active play. Of course, we know they've been sitting all day. So one of the first things we like to do when they get with us is really engage them in some type of hands-on activity, or just allowing them some time to decompress, have their snack before we offer that homework time for them. It is a time where we provide them an opportunity to work on homework, and the children can ask any questions. I'm going to tell you, please check your child's homework for accuracy. Our staff will look at it with them, but we do have a lot of students in our program. And so they might not be looking at it the entire time and moving around the group. Our program does end at 6 o'clock, and that we ask that you pick them up by that time. At the very bottom, you'll see that I just have a little note for you guys that all of our programs are licensed by the Department of Human Services and OCDEL. So OCDEL is the Office of Child Development and Early Learning, and we are also in the STARS program. So, close this out because that's my way. So snow days. When there's a snow day or a virtual day, there is no child care program offered. If we happen to have a 1 hour, 2 hour, or 3 hour delay, our programs will begin accordingly based on that delay. So 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or 10 o'clock. If we have an early closure due to snow, our program will stay open for 2 hours after the close of the school day. Now, there's sometimes when the weather is really bad or we're expecting a very severe storm, and the district may choose to close the program and not offer the program. But again, we're going to try and stay open for those 2 hours, and we ask that you leave work immediately. We realize some of you work further away, and it's going to take you a little bit longer to get to us. And we also know that the weather can hold you up, so have that backup person who can come and get your child on these days. And then for those families who are late picking up on there is $1 per minute fee charged. Now you're stuck on the turnpike, you call us, we're definitely going to waive that the first time, especially if there's a weather emergency or some type of emergency going on. So one of the things that we receive a lot of questions about is our in-service daycare. So we do offer full day childcare on several days, as you can see there, when the district is closed. It's held at Bridle Path, and it does operate from 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. What we do is we're going to, via the Bright Wheel system, send out a Google Doc to you, and you're going to sign up for the program that way. During that time, your child will get both breakfast and lunch and a PM snack, but you do need to register for it, and there is a fee associated with that. And it's at the time of registration. So you'll sign up, and then our staff will go in and create that in-service day billing for you. When you go to Bridal Path, you are going to use that main door, door number 1, and we ask that you bring photo ID with you, because all of our staff that are working may not know who your child is, and we want to make sure we're dismissing the children to the appropriate people. So early dismissal days is another question we get a lot. So we do offer childcare on early dismissal days. Bridal Path and Walton Farm will close at 12 o'clock on early dismissal days. So we will begin care at that time. And then all the other elementary schools will be at 12:30. And as you can see, there's a list of school days there. And also in the email that was sent out to you through Bright Wheel, we did include all of those days. We had the early dismissal days, the in-service days, and then the days that we do not offer any programming. So if the early dismissal day falls on your scheduled day, if it's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we have an early dismissal on a Wednesday, there's no additional cost. If it happens to be a Tuesday and your child is not scheduled to be there, you may purchase the early dismissal day, and that is $39 for that day. And again, we'll be sending you reminders related to all early dismissals, all in-service sign-up days. Picking up and dropping off. As you see here, we have Taylor Swift there picking up some of your children for you. I know the kids will love that, as well as our office assistant. She is a big Swiftie, so I put that on there specifically for her. Drop off and pickup is held at our doors that are listed on the newsletter that you'll receive. The newsletter will be coming out to you later tomorrow, along with your first bill. Staff, when you come to the building, will greet you, and they'll sign your child in and out of the program. We have moved to the Bright Wheel system, and it is an electronic sign in and sign out. So we're no longer using the paper where you're signing in and signing out. This benefits us in many ways. It also allows us to report directly to our Early Learning Resource Center attendance for families. Again, make sure if anybody else is picking up, they bring photo ID, and that you are notifying us of pickup people. The other thing is, please do not park in the fire lanes. We need to have you park in a designated parking spot. And then safety and fire drills. So each of our buildings has a doorbell at the location where you'll be picking up. As indicated, there are certain doors that you're going to enter through, and you will be receiving the letter for the schools that have doorbells. There's 4 schools specifically, but if there's nobody at the door, there is a bell located where you'll be able to reach the staff. We do practice regular drills, safety drills, fire drills, emergency drills, and they're practiced during the time the children are in childcare with us as well. The emergency evacuations that we use during our time are the same locations the children use during their school day. That way there's no confusion over where the children are to go to. And then we will be sending those letters out to you right at the start of the beginning of the school year in September with all of the information for emergency relocation. So if you're looking to change your schedule or withdraw from our program, All changes are due to the office in writing. In writing can be in Brightwheel. You can send us an email. We do prefer communication via the Brightwheel system. It needs to be into us by the 14th of the month to go into effect for the next month. So, for example, in September, if you let us know by the 14th that your child's changing their schedule or that you're dropping the program, as of October 1st, that will go into effect and the new charge will exist as of that point, or we will be removing all charges. When withdrawing, we ask that you give us a 30-day notice from the program. If, for purposes of allowing people to come into our program as well. Extra days can be purchased on a space available basis by calling the office. And that number, we provided a whole bunch of numbers for you, calling us or again, messaging us in the Brightwheel app. We would be able to let you know if we have space available for your child on that day. Medication is a really important thing. Many students do take medication. If your child is required to take medication during the time that they're going to be with us, we need you to provide the medication in the original container with the prescription label and the prescription for the med showing your student's name on it. We cannot share medications with the school because the school is closed, the nurse's office, when we are there. We need written instructions from the physician on the label. And then we also need you to complete the medication permission slip form for each medication that's required. So if your child has an allergy and takes Benadryl, we would need a form filled out for the Benadryl, as well as any EpiPen that may be needed. We also need a copy of any asthma or allergy action plans for your students if they have an EpiPen or an inhaler. And then if any other issues that your child may have, any medical concerns, such as diabetes, we ask that you provide us with a copy of that medical plan as well. So here we have some reminders for you. If your child is going to be out on a day that they would regularly attend, we ask you to call the site. Those phone numbers will be on the newsletter, but you can also message the staff right in the Brightwheel app to let them know. We ask that you inform your child's classroom teacher of any changes in your student's dismissal plan. So if your child is taking the bus home today, rather than coming to aftercare, please make sure your teacher is aware of that. We accept checks, money orders, and credit card payments, as well as ACH payments. These are all due on the first of the month. So if you're paying by check, we ask that you have it to the ESC building by the first of the month. Any fees, any payments received after the first of the month, we will have a little grace period up until the 5th. But as of the morning of the 5th, anybody who hasn't turned in that payment will be assessed a late fee. This is set up automatically in our Brightwheel system. Monthly receipts also, in the past, you've called us for receipts or sent us a note. Now with our Brightwheel app, you are able to go in there and print your own receipt. And then finally, we do accept subsidized childcare funds from the ELRC. I have Montgomery County there, but we have families who receive funds from Bucks County. Families have moved into our district who may have lived in a different county previously. Those funds will follow you. So if there's any questions, or if you're interested in learning anything more about subsidized childcare, please feel free to reach out to us, and I would love to provide you with some information for that. Our final reminders are, I just want to let you know that our staff pick up our kindergarten and second grade students right from their classroom. That way there's no confusion for them, especially our incoming kindergartners, of where they're going to. We do provide 30 minutes of quiet time or homework time on Mondays through Thursdays, but not on Fridays. Many emails have come through about the health form. The child care health form that is required is the CD51 health form for child care. Many people get their physical form for the school year, and they use the PDE health form, and that is not an acceptable form for child care. Those families who have the electronic forms from their doctors, most times you can reach right back out to your doctor and let them know that you need this form, and they will send us that form. It's they send it right in your portal. Okay. So parents are asked not to leave their leave the child care areas during before and after care. So what that means is if you're dropping your child off at Hatfield and you're buzzed into the building and you're walking your child into the building, we ask that you immediately leave the building, not go walk through the building. Our teachers are in the building, they're preparing for your children. So we ask that please exit the building following dropping off your child. Any toys, we ask that they leave that home, any personal belongings, cell phones, anything that could go missing during their time with us. And then if you have any questions or concerns at any time, please contact anybody in the office, any program staff at the buildings, anybody can answer your question. And if we cannot answer it, we will find the answer for you. Our monthly newsletters will come out each month, and they'll also be sent to you in the Bright Wheel app, along with any medications, logs, and then the menus, the lunch menus, the snack menus, all of that stuff will be available for you in the Bright Wheel app. So everything you're going to need is going to be in that app. So, Bob, that brings us to the end. Do we have any questions?
We do. I'm going to stop your share there.
Okay.
If it'll let me do it. I should be able to
I
stop
think
you.
I
If you could unshare. There you go. Perfect. All right. So we got a few questions, and some of these were answered in the course of the presentation, but I want to make sure we're set. So there's two snack
Sure.
questions right off the top, asking if there's snacks
Yes.
provided in extended care. And then can parents pack snacks, or should they pack snacks? Let's talk about snacks.
Sure. Okay, so snacks. We will provide you with a menu for our snacks for the day. Actually, for the month, you'll be able to see what our snacks are. If there is something that your child doesn't like, we're going to say, hey, please feel free to send your child with a snack. We want them to have something. We realize some of our kids are with us for a long time, so we want them to be able to have that snack following their day.
And then let's talk about breakfast. What's that look like in the morning?
So breakfast is they'll come into the program, they'll be able to get breakfast, sit down at the table. It is breakfast is going to be provided through the food service, nutrition services, and we will have that menu for families as well. Again, if you see that there's something on that menu that your child won't eat, please feel free to send your child with something else for breakfast.
All right. That was the snacks and
I see them
breakfast.
growing those questions.
So we'll go right back to the top. I think this was in reference to the in-service days. Desiree, the question you had here, if you want to clarify if we get this wrong, but I think this, when this came up, you had asked about the in-service days, and it says, do you have to be a bridle path student to use the full day options? I think it was in reference to that.
No, you do not need to be a bridle path student. Any student at any of our elementary schools, we offer the program to them. We just happen to run the program at the bridle path
Excellent.
location.
And then with the in-service days that are the option to do that, it's $45 per day. They're asking to confirm.
Mm-hmm.
And then you elect or request that day, the days when you register. When do parents tell you that you would like to use those days?
Great. So a good example is we have an in-service day coming up. We are going to be sending out the form to sign up for the first in-service day to families coming up. So they'll get that typically the month prior to the in-service day, and then they'll get to sign up for the day. We will then in turn create an invoice for you. You know you're in the program if you receive that invoice. So all you'll need to do is pay that invoice, and you just show up on that day, and we're all set and ready for them.
Okay, great. Two questions related to pickup after school. So if they're signed up for after school care, and particularly maybe at the beginning of the year, parents may be picking up just the first couple days. So if they're going to pick up directly from school and not utilize extended school care, what process should they know so that you know? And the other side of this is that the school knows that you're going to be in a car pickup line, or how does that typically work? Or what do you suggest for a parent who's picking up and not utilizing the after school?
Sure. So if it's a scheduled day that you're scheduled to attend, like that very first day of school, and you want to bring your child to and from school that day, because of course it's a very important first day and we got to get those nice photos in, um, we need to then just send an email again, send it in Brightwheel to us. Let us know that your child will be getting picked up at the end of the school day and will not be utilizing the services. I also ask that you email the teacher, your child's teacher, or send a written note into the teacher just letting them know that you're going to pick them up via car line or as a walk or whatever way you're going to pick them up.
And my wife works in one of the schools and she does car lines frequently. I know that the office, they're the ones that are going to actually end up putting you in different lines. So the teacher, and if you get to know who the secretary is at your attendance secretary at your building, it's good to let them know too. So everybody knows exactly, especially those first 3 days of schools, trying to get everybody organized of who's on bus, who's getting picked up, who's going to extended school care. So you can't let certainly at the beginning of the year, you can't let too few people know about this. So if you want to tell the teacher, tell the office, tell extended school care for that. Bright Wheel, you brought up Bright Wheel there. That's great. Somebody is
Yes.
asking, it looks like mom set up for Bright Wheel, but they need dad to get set up. How's that work? And anybody that needs to get in the Bright Wheel, what process should they use?
Sure. So it can happen two ways. The parent can add, like the parent that exists already, could add the other parent as well as any pickup people they would like to put in there to pick up their child. If you're putting somebody in there to pick up your child, you don't want to indicate them as a parent because then it will give them access to everything in your account. So put those people as pickups. Or if you're having a hard time or you're really not sure what to do, just reach out to the office and one of us will set up that account for you.
Gotcha. Couple more question on the in-service days, trying to group these together
Sure.
as they come in. If a child's full-time, do they have to pay for in-service care days or do they not need to utilize that?
So for full day in service, yes. We don't charge you anything for the early dismissal days, but the full day in service, yes, that is a fee-based program.
Okay, so that's anybody signs up for
It's
that.
anybody.
Gotcha.
Correct. Unless, well, there's
Go ahead.
one caveat. If you happen to be a family who receives subsidies from the county, like the ELRC,
Mhm.
you do not pay an additional fee for that day. That is covered through the county.
Gotcha. And I think if I'm reading the question right from Jacqueline here, she's asking, I think if the kid is full time in extended care, is it required you do the in service? Which the answer is no.
No.
Gotcha. All right. So I'm trying to go from the top. Everybody's got great questions. So all the information we have here, this presentation that we just did, which a lot of this information is in, is all going to be posted to the extended school care site. So somebody's just asking if all these questions can be provided in email. So I know we were talking about some of the frequently asked questions that may not be hit within the presentation are some things we can post to the website. And of course you have your frequent communications that come from your office all the time that gives you updates and give you clarification as we get closer to special events and in-service days and half days and all kinds of things like that. So
Correct.
trust me on this, you're going to get lots of information from Jackie. So question about half days, and I don't know this answer in general. Do students get lunch? How does lunch work if a student's in half day and extended care? How's that work on a half day and what's that look like
So I do believe that the students have lunch at their school before they are dismissed.
on a half day?
Yep.
Gotcha. And the app that was mentioned for snack selections, is that also Brightwheel?
Yep. So it's everything that we're going to send. All communications for the child care program will be via the Bright Wheel app. And everybody should in this meeting should be on there because that's how they found out about this meeting. So you should
Awesome.
have access. There's a forms and documents section. There's announcements that we have. There's newsletters. There's a whole bunch of information that we will be pushing through that system.
Gotcha. All right, I'm going to stay at the top here, and we might get a
Absolutely.
little bit out of order and come back around to different things. So a parent is asking K through 2 students, are they walk to their classrooms in the morning as well, first and second grade? Are they walk to their classrooms after
I
extended?
do believe so all of them don't necessarily go right to their classroom. There's different ways that the students get to their classroom, and that is coordinated with the schools.
So the schools handle the
Yeah, we
transfer.
coordinate it with them. Like some of the kids meet in the gym, so they
Yep,
bring the kids to the gym.
and then
Other kids we walk down. Yes.
gotcha. Okay, the form questions, the forms, the different forms you talked about in the presentation. How do parents submit those forms and get those to you?
Sure. So they are the forms we're going to send you are actually a Google Doc link. So you're actually going to go in there, sign up via the Google Doc link. There's going to be paper copies as well to school for those families who, aren't quite ready to move totally on with the technology. But we are going to have the Google Doc as our main method.
Okay. And that just basically means you're going to be doing it online. But if you
Yes.
do get a paper copy of something, who should they give it to?
They should give it to their site coordinators who will then turn them into us.
Okay. All right. So, parent at Montgomery. Hi, Laura.
Yep.
I want to make sure I understand this question. I know where the extended care door is, but where would I go with my child after that? So I'm not sure what you're asking for. So if you go to the door
So,
for extended care, maybe you
yeah.
understand this question.
So I'm wondering if the question is, I'm dropping off my child and I'm bringing them to the door, then what happens? So
Yes.
what's going to happen is the staff are going to greet you. They're going to get your child, sign them into the program, probably have a quick little conversation with you about anything that they may need to know about your child specific for that day. And then you'll be off on your merry little way to work.
Gotcha. All right, Laura, if we answered that, give me a thumbs up in the Q&A. If not, just clarify and we'll go at it again. All right. Talking about the food that's provided, how do parents know what it is concerning allergy purposes, those types of things? And it's probably a good time at the same exact time, so probably generate a lot of questions just saying the word allergy. I know we covered it
Yes.
in the presentation, but how do the parents get to know, what they'll be served? And then if there is an allergy concern, let's talk about that too.
Okay. So number one, you'll be able to see the menu. The menu will be in the Brightwell app that you'll be able to go in there, see what's being offered for morning breakfast, what's being offered for the snack as well. And then if it's something your child is allergic to, of course, our staff have a list of allergies and will not be allowing your child to take that as well.
Okay. So there's a couple questions in here, and I may just try to combine it because I know I saw them flying up in here, talking about changes to their days. So different work schedules for parents, they might typically work on a Monday, Wednesday, but a new shift comes up and they're working Tuesday, Wednesday. How does that work for you, or how can that be accommodated in
Right.
scheduling, and how much
So
notice do you need?
there's two pieces there. The first one is your child normally comes up Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and something comes up that you need your child to come next Tuesday. You're going to reach out to us. We're going to make sure that there's availability, and then we're going to let you know that your child can attend that Tuesday. The other thing is we have some family members who are like nurses or doctors that have that little bit of a varied schedule. And I just picked doctors and nurses. I have no idea why, but there's other professions that have a varied schedule. I guess I was just thinking of my husband. But so those people who have that varied schedule, there used to be something that was called flex, which we no longer are offering that. Parents would pay extra to have a flex schedule. What I'm asking of parents is that they provide us a monthly calendar in advance. So we have a family who's already provided me the first 2 months so that I'm able to go in there and make sure that their child's needs are being met for those days and we can staff accordingly.
Gotcha. All right. First day of extended care, first day of school.
Yep.
Okay.
Except for our incoming kindergarten students, because that's an orientation
That's
day.
orientation day. That's right. So you're coming in, if you're a kindergarten parent, that's on this call, you have your orientation on the first day of school, which is the 28th, and you have an appointment set with your school, and you come in with your student that day, you do your orientation, and there's no extended school care for you because you're there and you're going to go through that and take your kid home. And then for everybody else, though, it starts on 28th. For our kindergarten parents, it would be the 29th is the first day for them.
Correct.
Yes, that's I'm going to read the rest of that question, make sure they're again back to the early dismissal, and maybe I didn't listen well here because I would just answer it if I knew the pure answer, right? I should be listening very strongly as well. So if you're scheduled on a Thursday normally and there's an early dismissal, there's two questions here because I'm not sure how this goes. Is there an extra fee because it's a half day? Is there extra fees because it's an early dismissal at all?
So if it is a regularly scheduled day for your child, there's no extra fee. It's just if you want to have your child come on a day that's not a regularly scheduled day.
Gotcha. But early dismissals has no effect on that, the fees.
Yes. So if you don't normally come, so if you don't come on a Tuesday
And
and
it's
we're
an early
closed,
dismissal day,
then you'd
and you
have to
want
pay for
care.
that day because
Gotcha.
you're adding a day.
Gotcha. But if you're scheduled that day, early dismissal or not, you're good for the day.
Correct.
All right, got it. That is what I was trying to clarify. um, I think there's some there. I'm just going through the questions here. They're just asking about certain things, so we have our fees and the payments through Brightwheel and all that kind of stuff. Just asking about like the surcharges and all that, how that works. Being a parent that's not having a student in extended care because they're like in their 20s now. I'd love to send them to your program because it's awesome. But since I haven't been in Brightwheel and see that, I'm just wondering just a couple questions about the surcharges they see when they go through and pay for things through the Brightwheel.
Sure. So if you're paying by a check, there's no fees associated with that whatsoever. You just need to make sure it's here at the ESC building by the first of the month. If you're paying with a bank account, right? You're putting your bank account routing number and all that, the bank account routing number and your account number into the Brightwheel system, then you're paying a maximum, I believe it's 90-cent fee. If you're paying by a credit card, it's like a 2.9% fee, just like any other credit card transactions that you get now at your restaurants or anything like that. And I do want to let you guys know that the system has been highly vetted and that their security for their banking purposes is equivalent to that of a bank.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very highly secure.
Okay. We talked about the half day. You only pay if you're not scheduled, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about EpiPens and the medical forms and medical needs and meds. I'm just reading through the EpiPens and allergy meds during day off program days at different schools. So say like you're doing the in-service program
Yep.
and you don't go to Bridle Path and your stuff's not usually there. How does that work and kind of coordinate those pieces?
Right. So our staff will know that your child is going to go to that in-service day. What's going to happen is we're going to provide you back with your stuff to bring with you to the next to Bridle Path, because we realize already your child has an EpiPen. You have one for school, one for childcare, one for home. We're not going to ask you to, have this extra EpiPen. They're really expensive on hand. So we're going to have you use the one at your home school to bring that over with you. Same thing with any medications.
Gotcha.
Because what'll happen is it'll be in a Ziploc bag with all of your child's information, with his action plan or her action plan, with the doctor's orders as well, and the medication. So that'll just go right back to you in that Ziploc bag, and you'll just hand it to the staff who's working the in-service day.
And for everybody who missed in the presentation, just quickly, if you could kind of review. So the forms, like the process, let's just say we're going to use EpiPen as an example. So my child has one. What am I filling out? Where and when am I submitting it? How do you get the EpiPen to you guys?
Sure. So if you have an EpiPen, your child has an allergy, you're going to, of course, have a action plan for the administration of that EpiPen from your doctor. We will need a copy of that action plan as well as the EpiPen. The EpiPen needs to be in the original box that was given to you with the script on the outside of it that basically says it's for your child and how to administer it. You're going to then send that to us. Now, if your child has an EpiPen, they typically also receive Benadryl as part of that. So you also need to send the Benadryl along with the action plan and the script from the doctor.
Okay. All right, let's go back to top here. All right, schedule changes. A lot of this is going to be figured out as you begin to do the first week or two, but it's good that you're asking the question to try to get it right the first couple weeks here. So as far as notifying you of change in schedule, we talked about changing days and notifying you as soon as possible. What about if I'm picking up at 4 o'clock instead of 5 o'clock that you normally put in there? What's the process for that, or you just come?
You just come. There's no need if your time is fluctuating for the day. Now, the change that I'm thinking about is, okay, my child comes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but I want to change my days to 5 days starting in October. You need to let us know by September 14th for us to make that change. We do need to notify a lot of people along the way, the staff, the schools, the teachers, the transportation. There's a lot of pieces that go into that. So it might seem like a long time, but it's really not for us to do all that communication and that paperwork.
Gotcha. And that's for changing your schedule of days, not what time you pick up
Yeah.
after school. Gotcha.
And it's not like, hey, I need, if you know tomorrow that you find out today at work that you need to add childcare tomorrow, you're going to call us, right? We're going to say, hey, we can accommodate that and let the staff know.
Yep.
That's different than wanting to change your actual schedule. That's just needing an extra day of service.
I'm probably going to generate a whole lot of questions when I ask this question, because it's one of the tougher things we have that happens in understanding the difficulties. That if
Mhm,
we have a snow event during the school a day and we dismiss early, emergency
mhm.
style, maybe there's a water leak or a power failure or any kind of thing could happen to do an emergency early dismissal. The school district will notify you on every single phone number you have. You'll be irritated at the number of phone calls you get. However, but we're in an emergency mode like that to let you know that we're dismissing early. Um, the extended school care program typically is 1 hour after dismissal.
Two
Two,
hours,
two
right?
hours. Two. Okay. So it's going to be, and the honest part of it is getting there as safely as quickly as you can, because the reason we need everybody to go is because it's becoming treacherous outside and we need to dismiss for those reasons. So here's the difficulty. You could be 45 minutes away. You could be, and now you've got to drive through that weather and get here. So we understand that, but the point and goal here is for you, once we notify you, whether it's you or your designated person that's allowed to pick up, to get your child as soon as possible so that we can clear the school and get people safely at home as soon as possible. So even though you've paid till 6 o'clock, we're in emergency mode. We're dismissing at 1 o'clock or something like that. The reason we give it as an emergency is so that you can immediately start making plans to come as quickly and safely as you can to the building to pick up your student.
Correct. And we do have staff ourselves who utilize some programs elsewhere for their children again. So, they have to make those arrangements for their pickup of their children as well too.
I think
So
we
we want to,
sometimes forget that our staff also has families and are also doing the
yeah.
exact same thing you're trying to do, where we
Yes,
got to
yes.
get our kids and bring them home, right?
Right.
All right. Um, the bus assignments, someone who went into Infinite Campus, exciting day yesterday because all the schedules were released, so you could start to see what the schedule begins to look like for your students. There's a parent who has a bus assignment, but they're going to be putting their kids in the after school care. Is that something for them to notify transportation, or how do you normally deal with that for parent or kids that stay and don't utilize the bus?
Okay. So if your child's already in the program and you're planning for them to use the program, first I would recommend that you call your home school, because they're going to, especially for the younger kids, make sure that they have all that stuff labeled for that child to get on that bus or to get to childcare. So we want to make sure we have the right information for the teacher in the building. Um, if you haven't registered your child for childcare yet for some reason, you don't want to cancel your bus services until you secure placement in the childcare program.
Excellent. All right, so there's a question here, and I'm not going to read all of it because it's very specific to this person. So it's really about changes. So they have some changes to make. They believe that they don't need after school, but still need morning. How's that work on what they've already paid for? So there's a lot of questions there. So for those kinds of changes, what's the best way to talk to you guys about it?
Right. So they should give us a call. But again, remember that that's why we asked for that 14th, because then we can make the changes in payment. So if you're going to be billed for the entire month at the rate that you tell us that you're coming.
Gotcha. Concerning in-service days, uh, how how late can they sign up for it?
So each on the Google form you're going to receive, each one has a deadline of when the paperwork needs to be in, because we can have as little as 50 kids, or we can have as many as 100 kids, and we need to staff accordingly. We need to work with food service to make sure we're getting the appropriate amount of breakfast, lunch, and PM snack for those children, and then all those pieces that go within that, and securing space at Bridle Path.
Okay. Because we could run out of space too. Something that could happen, right?
Correct.
Gotcha.
Correct. We could cap off.
Yep. The CD51 form, is that needed for all kids, just kids starting in kindergarten? How's that work?
It is required of all students in the program. Kids who are coming in from kindergarten need to get, of course, they would need the form, and any child who is going into sixth grade would need the form as well. If your child was in the program with us in the past years, those children probably already have the right CD51 form, because we reached out to families last year. But if not, this year when you re-registered and uploaded your paperwork, we let you know that we needed the CD51 form for your child.
All right, awesome. I'm answering a question here in the chat directly. All right, let me go back to the top. As far as not coming in the morning, whether the kid's
Mhm.
sick or you're just not a great morning, you're deciding to drive your kid in to get him to school on time. Should they be notifying you in the morning that you're not coming?
So I always say to people, you're more than welcome to. However, you don't need to, because we know if your child's not with us and you didn't bring them to us, they're home safely with you. The time we really need you to let us know what's going on with your child is during the aftercare portion, because your child needs to come to us. And if your child doesn't show up, of course, we're going to the office, to the teacher, searching for your child and all the other children that aren't there, that are supposed to be there. And then your child could already be on a bus going home when they should have been with us, because we're checking for all these children. So if you let us know, we can mark right in the app for the family, the staff, that the child's going to be absent that day.
Gotcha. And I'm like slow getting to the questions, because I know we talked about this 10 minutes ago, but going back to, if you're picking your kid up and um, the bus isn't waiting for them. I'm just going through a couple different things. So if you have a bus and you're extended care, you're in extended care, there is no bus, right? So just making sure the school knows, and of course the program knows your child's supposed to be there, that they're going to be in extended school care, because they're going to sort the kids and send them to the different directions. If you're picking up, again, letting extended school care, the teacher and the office know that you're picking up today and the kid's not going to extended care. So that's typically what's going to happen. It would be unlikely, unless you directly requested it, that the kid comes home on the bus that day, because the only way that happens is, please send my kid home on the bus today, right after school. So that's the same thing. So tell extended school care, tell your teacher, and tell the office that that's happening. So those all working together. And the more people that have that information, a teacher's not going to go, okay, all the extended school care people do it. Go down to the gym for extended school care. But today you're getting picked up, and your student, you might have told them that, may not remember that, and they'll just merrily go down on a Tuesday like they normally do, down to extended school care. So we just want to make sure everybody knows that the student gets to the right place, because
Right.
we don't always rely on the kid to know what they're doing on a daily basis. Right.
And one other thing that I just thought of, something that happened a couple times last year, is parents would leave us message and they'd give us their name, um, and say, "Oh, my child's not coming." But when you call to let us know that your child's not coming, you might be like, "Oh, okay, your son's name might be Matthew, and we might have 4 Matthews in the program. So please just give us your child's first and last name when letting us know."
Gotcha. As far as all the health forms that needed to be completed, those that registered back in February and maybe through the course or earlier this summer, will you let them know if they haven't done what they needed to do, if they're
Yes.
good, check?
So yeah, so a good way for you to know if you completed all of the paperwork that you need to do is log on to Brightwheel. Kindergarten families, we actually emailed you your paperwork back in February. So if you were an early registrant, you got a paper version of the paperwork, because Brightwheel wasn't up and running yet. For anybody else, go into your Brightwheel app, go to the documents and forms, and if it says in progress there, we have not received that form. What may have happened is you completed the form, you uploaded it, but you didn't hit submit. That's been, when we've been reaching out to families because we didn't have paperwork, that's been the number one thing that happened. They're like, "Oh, I uploaded it, but didn't submit it."
Got it. We talked about this before, but we talked about Brightwheel, but it comes up again real quick. Brightwheel is really important in this program. That's going to be like the
And
interface
it's
here.
new. I understand that. Like, the families that have been with
Yeah.
us before are not used to Brightwheel.
So real quick, we'll say it again. The getting your code or setting it up for yourself, and then your parent pickup people, or the people that are allowed to pick up. Real quick, let's just review that one more time, because it's really important.
So if you are putting, if you're going to add a spouse or another parent, a guardian that can pick up your child, you're going to go in there and add them to the list. If you want to put another person in there because they're a payer, that's a different story, because you want to make sure they're designated as a parent or family. So that way they get access to the billing as well. If you have just authorized pickup people and you put them in as family, they're going to see all of your communication, all of your billing, all of everything. So you want to make sure any authorized pickup people are just entered as authorized pickup people.
Got it. What's the procedure? Kid makes it through the school day, feels good, starts not feeling great by the time you get to extended care, has a fever, maybe gets sick. So if a kid is sick, I would say the same in the morning. You might drop them off and they may not be sick yet, and before they even start school, they're sick. What's the procedure when a child's not feeling well, and how do you inform the parents, and what's the process for that?
Sure. So if your child's not feeling well in the morning after they're with us for a while and school's going to be starting, we're going to take them to the nurse, make sure they get to the nurse, that the nurse checks them out before the school day. If it's early enough, we're going to give you a call and let you know that they're not feeling well. That allows you to have the decision, say, hey, let my kid go to the nurse, and then the decision will be made then. And after school care, of course, there's no nurse on staff. What will end up happening is that we'll probably reach out to yourself or the whoever the parent is. We'll call both parents just to reach out till we get one of them and let you know that your child's not feeling well, share with you what's wrong with your child, and again, like, you can make that decision.
Gotcha. All right. So talk about our forms. Everybody wants to do, they're very good. They want their forms to be done and make sure they did everything right. So
Uh-huh.
some of them see in the portal that it says some of them are in progress because they had been dropped off physically. Um, is that in process? Will they see that scanned? And I'll go back to, you'll let them know if there's a problem, right?
So, yes, if you drop them off in person, then your forms were never uploaded. So then we could not have approved those forms. When we approve your forms, you get notification that your forms were approved. So
Got
if you drop them off in person, we most likely have them. If you were sending them through Brightwheel, if it says in progress, then we did not receive them.
it means it like even the physical forms. If
If
I brought the physical form and it
if you
says in
brought the physical
progress,
forms into us, we have them.
okay, all right. And if not, we're going to let you know if there's a problem, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've been calling families all week that we don't have their paperwork. Between myself, Kaya, and Shauna, we have called just about every family we didn't have paperwork for. If we
Gotcha.
miss somebody, it's sheerly by accident.
There's a couple, I can almost do like a fire at you round and then ask a little bit longer question. Um, as far as the first day of school for kindergarten students, do they have to notify extended school care they're not going to be there? That's not a thing, right?
They do not need to let us know that their child will not be there on the 28th. We are aware that no kindergarten students will be with us on the 28th. If your child's not going to be with us on the 29th, because again, this is your child's first day of school, you want to get that drop off and pick up picture, or you just want to spend the day with them on their first day of school, you need to let us know that your child's not going to be coming.
Gotcha. A question about Friday the 30th, which is next Friday. That is not an in-service day. So that is not a day where care would be available. Somebody had a question about that. Is that available? But we're actually closed that day.
Yes, the
Schools are
district
not
is closed
open.
that day.
So just to define, there are in-service days where the building is open, teachers are there doing training. That's an in-service day. There are days that we are closed, holidays, and that's what, going next week, it's Labor Day weekend. So holidays, that's it, holidays. That's when
Yeah.
election day, those kind of things where we're typically closed. Election day is a different beast. We'll talk about that. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
You'll be lots of notifications, but if we're closed, we're closed. If we have an in-service day, that's what the in-service program is for.
Correct. And there are a couple holidays that we do offer, the care, like leading up to Thanksgiving, right? That Monday and Tuesday, we offer care on those days. Same thing for the spring break.
Gotcha. All right.
And again, those days are all provided for you. They're in the welcome letter I sent you, as well as they're in the handbook, the parent handbook, which was also sent to you. And it just says click on the link here in that letter that you'll be able to go right to our link and see that handbook.
Gotcha. All right. As far as the physical forms, again, since a parent brought them in physically, they don't have the list of who they authorized to pick up their student.
Mhm.
So to review that, will that eventually be in Brightwheel? How can they review who they gave authorization to? Like, oh, did I put Grandma Betty
Yep.
on it? I'm not sure if I did or not.
Great question.
Yep.
So you're at the school and the staff have a binder with all of the student information. So they will be able to go in and let you know if you added if that student is on your list.
Gotcha. Somebody's struggling a little bit with the uploaded forms on the health assessment. Since it was 3 pages long, it's only letting them do 1 page.
So it depends on how you uploaded your document. If you did it as one continuous scan, then people have been able to upload it. If you have multiple pages, you can go into the messaging in the chats and upload them there. You could just click on the little attachment, or you're welcome to email them to me as well.
Okay. All right. Very good. This is a great question. students with IEPs, do you guys get that information? How do you share information about students' IEP needs, those types of things between extended school care and the regular school day? What's that look like?
So although we are North Penn School District, we do not get access to any IEPs 504s. What has to happen is that the parent then needs to send them to us. So if you have your child has an IEP or a 504, you can send them to us. You can upload them into the Brightwheel app as an attachment. As I've been going through some of them, and I see student parents have indicated the student has a 504 or an IEP, I've been sending the request for them to upload it to us.
Awesome.
And again, I recommend that you send that to us, not for the educational purposes of your child, but there's a lot of strategies in there that help us support your child. So, a lot of de-escalation strategies. There's stuff that let us know, things that might be triggers for behavior, anything that we need to know that's going to help your child be successful in our program.
Awesome. So I looked at, we answered 50 questions there.
I
So
know
good job, Jackie.
yeah, right.
Good
I don't
job.
know if that's a good job.
Yeah, you did a great job. So there are a couple other questions in here about payments for days where they change your schedules and those kinds of things. You're going to get all of this information as you go through and these special days come up. If you have questions about your schedule and wanting to change that and the needs you have there, it's just checking in with the office,
Yep.
contacting as we go through. We could go through 1,000 variations of schedules and what that would look
Yes.
like. So it's really particular to each family. And the best people to talk to are the best people we have there in the extended school care office. To give them a call, we have an awesome staff who's ready to help and answer all your questions directly.
And you could easily just send the message in Brightwheel, all of the staff. I think that's the best way to access us because there are 5 of us. There's a site coordinator plus the 4 staff in the office that are all getting that exact same message. And we can see when somebody else responds to you. So you're more likely to get your question answered quicker than sending an email to one person.
Gotcha. Okay, I think that's great. The one last question here is what's the latest if I have extended school care and I end up bringing them at like at 8:45. What's the latest if a kid's going to get breakfast in the morning? So is there a cutoff where you're like, because I think everybody gets free breakfast, no? If they're
I think
not in
everybody,
extended school care.
yes, even if you're not in school, extended school care, they
So
can
if you're on
get,
time for school, I
yeah,
think there's still an opportunity for breakfast there for you.
correct. I believe that is correct as well.
And then I think how the school nutrition services work and how it works at your school are great questions to ask when you get there. This is the thing I'm going to tell you. Our school nutrition services staff is also awesome. They're not going to say, no food for you, no soup for you in the morning. So they'll be eager to make sure that our goal is with our breakfast program, make sure every student has what they need to have a great start to the day and be ready for the day.
But I do believe it is a grab and go breakfast, so there won't be any hot soup.
Gotcha. No soup for you after all. So that's about it for our questions. I know there's a couple in here. They're a little bit particular. We ask you to reach out to the office or talk to your site coordinator. Again, this entire presentation, all these questions we just answered will be part of this presentation on the website. Give us about a day to get it posted up to the website, and the presentation as well will be there. Keep an eye on your Brightwheel. Jackie, anything else?
No, and again, if you have any questions or schedule changes, let us know. I know again, as I said, there's some people who work in specialized fields that have to may get called into work, right? If you're a nurse and you're getting called in, just reach out and we will do what we can to accommodate you.
Got it. Okay. I think it's going to wrap it up here tonight. I appreciate everybody's time for coming out and listening. It's really impressive. The questions are important. I remember all those same questions when my kids are first getting into school to make sure that I was doing the right things so that everybody has a successful day. So we have a great team in the Extended School Care Office to help take care of that with you. And we're all excited to see your kids here in a week. Oof.
Absolutely.
We
Right.
start this up in a week. So thank you everybody for joining us. As always, I wish everybody well. Jackie, we do the Zoom wave. We'll do a little wave.
Bye, guys. Have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye bye.